Oh my goodness, my goodness. Okay, so wow. I didn't even realize it was 2 o'clock already. I kid you not. I was in a beautiful conversation with my dear friend Ron. And so it didn't hit me that it was 2 o'clock. And so I was like, oh, this thing just, the alert said it's 2 o'clock. It's like, oh, 2 o'clock. I need to be someplace. I need to be here on HouJack DMS. That's HouJack Digital Marketing Solutions. We are focused on Black and Brown business owners, and we have a want to educate others because entrepreneurship is a career choice. And for those reasons, we are sharing information to help truly all business owners have a better business. But more than that, be a better business owner, right? So today, because whenever I have to make a point about something, I like to use, if you will, improper grammar. I like to go there. I like to use things like ain't, and it really gets the point across when I say things like ain't. So today we're talking about ideal clients, and I want to really focus on where we put our energy. So that ain't your customer anyway is to make that point. Here's the backstory. AI is everywhere. Everyone's discussing artificial intelligence. And I can't help but notice that some business owners get a little agitated because consumers are choosing to use artificial intelligence versus hiring them for their services. I'm going to speak to what I know. So, in the photography community, there is an app that does headshots. And I want to say you send in, like, I want to say 2 or 3 selfies. I have not used it, but 2 or 3 selfies. And for $17, I believe you get 35 headshots, which I've said before. If you get a better headshot for LinkedIn or any other avatar, I am all for it. Just to create better images, right? And depending on who you are and what you do, the experience has been, well, this is a headshot I need to look professional, or has been, this is not anything close to who I am as a person, and therefore this AI thing is not for me, right? So that's where I'm coming from, because there is chatter in the photography group about, oh my goodness, people are doing $17 for 35 images. And how do I compete and how do I stay ahead of the game? And people are going to use these people or use the technology to create a headshot. And there's actually a young lady, I'm not mistaken, who was promoting her headshot business. And her whole deal was, you send me the selfies. And for $50, I will go in there and create these headshots for you. And she had customers lined up. And I was like, I'm not going to hate on them. Like, if that's your game, then by all means, roll with it, right? Like, go with it. So I thought to myself, why are they so upset? Like, why be so upset? I do headshots, all right? I do headshots. I will either, people can come to the studio and do their headshot, or I will come to them. So I'm offering this in-home, in-office service for a headshot. The person who is purchasing $17 headshots, well, that's not my person. That is not my person, right? So let's just start with our very first point here. Our very first point is, don't focus your energy on people who are not your target audience, right? Like, we go through all of these practices of identifying our ideal client. Why? Why do we do it? Why, as a business owner, do you take this time to talk to your ideal client, to figure out who your avatar is, to create a customer profile? Why do that? Because surely, as a business owner, you understand you are not servicing everyone. Yes, I have a product. Yes, I provide a service. No, everyone is not my customer. They're not. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Right? So the idea of being extra hyper focused about people who if let's just say that this was a photography business, And this person came in saying, I just saw online I can get 35 headshots for $17. Will you match it? Okay, so if you're a professional of any industry, you're going to know I am not doing anything for $17. Are you kidding me right now? Are you serious? No way. No, you're not matching that. You're not matching it. You wouldn't even entertain the idea of how much? What'd you say? You wouldn't even entertain that idea. So why be upset? Why get into, I can't believe they're doing this and I just can't do it. How am I supposed to survive? You want to know how you survive? You talk to your people. Talk to your people, right? The whole idea of figuring out who you're talking to, who your customer is, who your people are, is so that you can have steady business from your people. Everybody is not your client, right? And you want to focus your energy on your clients, your people, the people who appreciate what you do, the people who have no issues paying for your services, who enjoy your personality, who admire your artwork, who admire. Prime example.
Thank you for having me. Being
Of
such a great
course.
host.
It's always a pleasure.
Well, that's
and
interesting.
Thank you to our wonderful Marcelo. Who
Not
works out at
exactly
every single one
sure
of
how
our
I have
events,
another
answering
person on my
questions
on my
and
live here.
holding it down in the
Hold on
chat.
here. Give me a
So
moment.
Thank you to Marcelo.
We've got something
Thank you
going
to
on.
everyone.
That's interesting. Okay. Wedding cakes. I'll start with that one because I myself, some years ago, had to get a wedding cake. And all I knew is I really wanted the very best cake, but I didn't want to buy a lot of cake and I didn't want any cake left over. Right. That was not what I wanted to do. So I took my dad, and, he being a private chef, he has a great palate, amazing palate. So I had an idea for how much I want to pay for this cake. I don't like wasting food. So I wanted enough cake that would serve our guests. I didn't want any extra cake, and I didn't want to have not enough cake. I needed like this little sweet spot, right? So when I got the price, I was actually quite surprised how affordable it was, because you can get really intricate, but our cake also was very basic. I mean, I think I want to say I had like 3 tiers, some ribbon around it, some little cute little dots, and that was it. I didn't want like candied flowers and all this geode crystal. The cake is not where I was focusing my time and attention. My attention was on video and photos and a really good DJ and alcohol. Pops pay for alcohol. That was it. But imagine if you were a person who baked wedding cakes. And could anyone bake a cake? By all means. I come from a place in life where if you had a birthday party, your mother, your grandmama, your auntie, somebody made a box cake. It was beautiful, it was good, and it was tasty. But they made a box cake for you, and you were happy. Box cake with boxed ice cream is, yeah, the times back then. But nowadays, when people do these cakes for birthdays, they have layers, and there's fondant, and there's all these decorations. I mean, it is elaborate. I would be, what's a good word? I feel it would be disrespectful to go to that person who's doing all this elaborate work and say, well, can you make this cake for like $50? The time it takes to craft a piece of anything in cake form, right? Like, that's time. The skill, the creativity. I mean, all of that is time, and time is money, right? Like, do we all recognize that time is money, right? So the person who wants to have the fancy dancy, and if you've ever been on any social media platform beyond maybe LinkedIn, you have seen people who were saying, you want this, I could do it. And then they show you what they got. And it's not even, the craftsmanship is not there. Okay, we hate to say it, but you get what you paid for, right? So you wanted top line, beautiful, ornate cakes, but didn't want to pay the money. So you don't really value it. You don't really value it. So you go with Joe Smo over here, And the cake was probably tasty, but it didn't look like SpongeBob. I don't know what it looked like, but it didn't look like SpongeBob after all. It's like, wow, that's something, but it's not. The whole focus of that is when you were creating your marketing, when you were putting out your messages, when you're posting your reels, your videos, whatever it is, you are talking to your person. You don't create marketing for people who are not your customer. And for the person who comes to you and says, well, I only have $50, you're like, okay, well, I'm suggesting this person and that person, maybe this person, but I'm not adjusting what I do in my pricing to help you get this cake. If you really wanted this cake, this beautiful masterpiece, then you will pay the money that is required to get it. But that goes again back to value. So we're not going to focus on people who are not our customer. Like, why bother? Why? They're not your customer. So if Sally Sue decides to go to her neighbor down the street to get this cake, would you as a baker be upset? No. Sally Sue is not your customer. Sally Sue does not value the work that goes into this. All right. And I've seen some beautiful cakes. The few times I've had a chance to taste them, and I'm talking about wedding cakes specifically, the cake was gorgeous, beautiful, dressed up to the nines. The taste, not so much. Now, I don't know what that's about because I've had beautiful cakes that are also taste well, but some of them are so pretty, they're just like not, they don't taste. Sidebar. So the focus here is that, one, again, you don't want to focus on people who are not your customer. If they want to go to Joe Schmo and whoever else to get their photography done, to get their wedding cakes, to get XYZ gown, to get their car fixed, whatever it is, that's their choice as a consumer because it's about value. I have found that when people really want something, they find the money for it. You know how we know that? Look at the PlayStations. Look at the Jordan sneakers. Look at anything that's pop, culture, popular. Look at any of those things. Any of those. People will line up for it. And it tends to sell out or they get on a wait list. They will wait. They will find the money for what they want when they value it. If they don't value what they do, keep it moving. I said last week, I had 6 consultations, 6. Not one person signed. Not one. And I'm okay with that. I know it sounds like, are you serious, G? Like 6 people? We'll talk about being an entrepreneur next time. That you get a lot of no's and not yets. But a lot of those no's, well, they're not my customer. So we don't do well, let's meet in the middle and figure it out. Like, we're not doing that. We're not going to do that. No. I have a cost of doing business that I have to meet because that's the cost of doing business. You start wheeling and dealing, then what? Right? Are you the professional you say you are? If it's here's my budget. Okay, that's great. But now that's not to say that we don't figure out. Right? Like, there's a place that is your sweet spot as a business owner, right? And then there's a place where you can go more, like you want more, I'm going to give you more. And then there's that place, well, okay, so you can't hit the sweet spot, but this will still give you a great value. We all have that. But if you can't even get in at the great value, then this really isn't the place for me to service you because I can't do anything below this. Like, I have to meet my cost of doing business. Like, I gotta cover the bills. I got lights, I got things I gotta pay for. But as a business owner, when I get the no or not yet, I don't say, oh man, I guess I wish I could have, maybe I should have adjusted. No, that person is not my ideal client. It's not my person. And I will tell you this, that when you decide to wheel and deal, there's a headache there. There's a headache. Because if you just give a little bit, just a smidge, there's more requests that are coming. Guaranteed, hands down, there are more requests coming for, well, couldn't you just do this? And can we just do this? And can I get a discount here? And can I get it will never end. It will never end. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. If I can just say that, don't do it. Been there, done that, will never go back again. Right? So we mentioned to identify your ideal client, make that avatar, make that customer persona, drill it down, drill it down. Where are they shopping? What are they eating? What are they reading? What do they drink? What do their kids do? What do they drive? And I get that, yeah, you want to know what the salary is and all the location and demographic, all that stuff. But you got to drill it down. What do they value? Because once you know who you're talking to, then you can create the marketing that talks to those people. Funny thing. And again, I will use the photography environment. People hear that you're a photographer and they're like, oh, well, I have a birthday party. So are you available? It's like, no. We don't do events. You're a photographer? Well, my friend's pregnant. Do you? It's like, we don't do newborns, right? Photographers don't photograph everything the same way that painters don't paint everything, right? If you're a painter, and let's just say that you're a painter for either commercial or residential residences, spaces, you may just do exterior painting. You may not do interior painting. But you're a painter. Yeah, but I don't do the inside. I have an outside gig. But you're a photographer. Yeah, but I'm not product photography. I don't do that. I'm not doing weddings. I don't do weddings. Oh, right? I get that you can take anybody. I'm a doctor. But of what? You a podiatrist? You a heart doctor? Eyes? There's like 5,000 parts here. You're a mechanic. Yeah, but I don't work on Hondas. It's not my specialty. Right? We don't do all the things. Everybody doesn't do everything, right? So that comes back to you talking to customers. Yeah, I may be a photographer and I do create family portraits, but not every person who needs a family portrait is my customer. Now, I have to admit, I am high energy. Gwendolyn is high energy. We are guttural laughter. We are photo sessions with joy. That's who we are. And I can be a bit much. Not like, but I'm a bit much. We're talking 5 o'clock in the morning. It's like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And they're like, did you have coffee? I don't need coffee. I have nature's elixir. I have water. I just start out this way. And then we keep going. Right? So we're like, here. For some people, okay, that's too much. That's too much. I can't. Whew, that's a lot. So the energy has to be there too. But the marketing I create speaks to my clients. They want joy for their family members, for themselves. They're about family. They're about friends. They're about special moments. They want memories, experiences that last forever. Because you're not going to forget this photo session. That's for sure. You're not going to be like, who is that person? Who is that? It's like, oh, no, wait. We worked with the G. So, whoa. But they're great moments that you smile about. And yes, you're looking at your photo album and you're like, oh, remember when she did this and we almost did that and we lost the balloon, and they're great memories, right? So my marketing speaks to my people. When people call me and those values and things don't align, that energy does not align, I don't try to make it work. I'm like, you know what? I don't do that. Or I'm not available. We find all the things. If the energy's not there, it's like, this is not going to work out. It's not going to work out. The energy is just kind of, you can feel it. You can feel when things are not lining up properly. Let it go. I don't mind the no's. I don't mind the not yet. Would we want to make money? Well, sure. Everybody has bills to pay. Yeah. Right? Bills to pay. I have chocolate to buy. Donuts. But as my dad always says, or I should say in this point, pardon me, he always said, all money's not good money. It's not. Trying to service people who are not your customer just brings you headaches. And I have gray hair to show it. It just brings headaches. It's just let that go. Don't focus on people, things you can't control. Don't focus on people who are not part of your community. They don't speak to your energy. The values don't align. Don't. So, what we're talking about here, beyond your ideal client, is that emotional intelligence of knowing what is for you and what is not for you. And everybody isn't for you, right? Yes, I am open to helping everyone, but I also know everyone is not my customer. So when I see the person who is getting the $17 package for 35 headshots, I'm happy for them. I am happy that there is someone, something available for them to be serviced. I was mentioning earlier on LinkedIn about typically food, right? You've got Applebee's. You got Applebee's who's selling steak. You've got probably some other mid-tier place selling steak. And then you've got, as someone mentioned, Peter Luger selling steak. They're all selling steak, but those are three different experiences. You get what you want, what you value, right? If you are believing that you want to have this amazing experience, then you will pay for that. You don't have to go to spa to have like a spa day. There's plenty of bath scrubs and footy things and loofahs at your grocery store, at Ulta, Sephora, plenty of places. You can do your own thing. You got fancy candles. You can do all the things. But every blue moon, you're like, you know what? I want something special this time around. I'm going to go to a spa and have somebody pamper me and have the smells and the sights and the sounds. And I'm going to do that today. People will pay for what they want. But if they don't want what you're serving, it's not your people anyway. Don't get upset. Let it go. Don't put energy there. Take that time to focus on your people, your ideal client. Keep talking to them. And is there a place where you may have an aspirational customer? Well, yeah. And if they want to get a feeling or they want to experience what you offer, they will find the funds to do it. I mean, I was 20 plus years old when I purchased my first Prada bag. Now, Lord knows I should not have been purchasing any Prada bags at that point. But I was an aspirational customer. Man, I was. I got the whole set. The bag, checkbook cover, key fob, all the things. Felt good too. I was like, oh. But do you know how long it took to get that together as a 20 plus working part-time? It took me a while to get that Prada bag and the matching whatnot. It's like, oh, okay, let me get this cash together. We figured it out. But when I went into Neiman Marcus to get this bag, I didn't say, well, I only have $250 today, so can we? No. If you want it, you're going to figure it out. That's how that works. So when people want those brand new shoes or the latest this and that and the other, they figure it out. Same thing for what we offer as business owners, be it cake, be it nail designs, be it car services, lawn services, whatever it is, there are options. But I'm not competing with everyone. I'm not. I'm only competing with the people who are servicing my people. That's what I'm competing with. That's it. Well, and myself, because, I got to be better than yesterday. That's all that has to grow. But that's it. Other than that, there is no competition. There's no competition there. Zero. So as we end it, keep that in mind, right? Keep those points in mind. Let's go back and just look at it one more time. Very first, don't put your energy in places that don't need it. What you focus on is what it becomes. So if you start focusing on people who are not your people, not your ideal client, you're going to see more of it. You're going to see plenty more of it. You attract that. if they want to get Sally Sue, Billy Bob to do their birthday or their whatever for $100, $200, whatever it is, as a consumer, that's their choice. And I do the same thing. Like I said, sometimes I have no problem paying the $4 for that Nature's Own loaf of bread. Because I'm like, you know what? I love Nature's Own. And Nature's Own has served me well. And other times I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go with the Kroger brand. Because that's what I'm feeling right now. For whatever reason, in that moment, that $4 is like, wow, $4 for bread? Maybe I can bake my own bread. Maybe I can get my own chickens. We go back and forth, right? We all have choices. Respect those choices, but don't put your energy there. If you haven't, identify your ideal client, figure out who it is, get in there, drill it down, that customer persona, that avatar, figure out who it is and stick to it. This is where it is. It's very narrow. It's like here. And I was there. I admit when I was younger, it was like, I'm going to help everybody everywhere and do all the things. And no, we are not everything for everyone. We're not. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Not doing it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Lastly, create the marketing that talks to those people. You know what they value. You know what they enjoy. You know what their core values are, but the energy aligns. You talk to them. Talk to it. And they will respond to you, right? Because those are your people. And they're going to be there to do exactly what you want to do. For me, it's creating joy during a photo session. That's where we are. So next week, we're going to be tied up next week. So we'll be back in May. We're going to continue going into customer types. We're actually going to talk about the different customer types and how you can adjust your personality to match their personality. We're going to talk about that because that's a thing. It's a thing. If you know how to talk to all the different personalities, then you have a better chance of your message being received. Okay, enjoy your afternoon.